You think money is just about math. Earn more, save more. Simple, right? But what if I told you it's not about how much you earn, it's about what lives inside you? Because if you keep finding money slipping through your hands, if your bank account rises and falls like a wave, if no matter how hard you work, wealth never seems to stay, then it's time to stop blaming your salary, the economy, or bad luck, and start asking a deeper question. What is my unconscious relationship with money? Carl Jung believed that unseen parts of the psyche, the archetypes, shape our lives without us even realizing it. And until you explore your orphan, your saboteur, and awaken your inner sovereign, money will continue to leave you. Not because you're cursed, but because you're unaware of the forces within you. This is not just a financial journey. This is a spiritual awakening. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung, my friend, if money slips through your fingers no matter how hard you try to hold on to it, this is not a financial problem. This is a psychological one, a spiritual one, and Carl Jung, the great Swiss psychologist, showed us why. You are not just one person. Inside you live many ancient voices, archetypes, that shape how you think, behave, and feel about money, power, and responsibility. Let me introduce you to the first, the orphan. The orphan is the wounded child inside you. It believes the world is unfair, that you are alone, and that no matter how much you earn, it will all go away. When you finally get money, the orphan whispers, "You don't deserve this. Spend it now. Escape. Run." So you do. You spend it on things you don't need. You avoid looking at your bank account. You reject structure, because deep down, the orphan never felt safe in structure. Then comes the second archetype, the saboteur. This part of you is clever. It's not loud, it's subtle. It will tell you, you'll start saving next month. You don't know how to invest, so better not try. This is just how you are, bad with money. And you believe it. But the truth is, these are not facts. They are fear in disguise. But there is a third voice, a deeper one, waiting inside you. This is the sovereign, the king or queen within you. This part knows your true worth. It commands structure. It does not chase money. It builds systems that attract and hold wealth. It doesn't act from fear. It acts from vision. But the sovereign cannot rise until you face your shadows, until you meet the orphan, until you silence the saboteur, until you become aware of what's really driving your choices. Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists, but what you look at disappears." Look at your patterns. Look at your pain. Look at the truth. Because the real reason you can't hold on to money is not in your job or income or circumstances. It is in your unconscious beliefs about yourself. You must remember who you are. Not a victim, not a saboteur, not a scared child. You are the sovereign. And when you heal your mind, when you take back control of your inner kingdom, money will no longer run from you. It will serve you. We are not what happened to us. We are what we choose to become. Carl Jung, there is a child inside you. A child who once felt unloved, unheard, unsafe. That child never left you. It grew with you, hid inside you, behind your confidence, your anger, your silence, your struggle. Carl Jung called this hidden part of you the orphan archetype. The orphan is not weak, but it feels abandoned. It believes the world is unsafe. It assumes no one will come to help. And worst of all, it believes it is unworthy of love, success, or abundance. And so, you sabotage relationships before they deepen. You reject opportunities before they grow. You push away wealth when it comes, because the orphan whispers, "This is too good to last. I don't deserve this. They'll leave me anyway." But listen closely. This is not your truth. This is your wound speaking. The orphan was born when love was missing. Maybe your parents were absent, emotionally or physically. Maybe the world betrayed you when you were too young to fight back. Maybe you were told, directly or silently, that you're not enough. But Carl Jung taught us, in each of us, there is another whom we do not know, and that unknown part, the hidden, fearful child, is what quietly shapes your adult life. The orphan is not your enemy. It is your call to healing. It is the part of you crying for attention, love, and safety. You cannot ignore it, because what you ignore becomes your fate. Every time you chase approval, run from intimacy, or fear success, the orphan is in control. But here is the truth: you are no longer that helpless child. You have grown. You have power now, and now it is your turn to protect the orphan. Hold its hand. Speak kindly to it. Show it, through action, that it is no longer alone. This is the beginning of healing. This is the path to individuation, to becoming whole. When you embrace the orphan within, you unlock your empathy, your depth, your creativity, your soul. You stop waiting for someone else to rescue you, and you rescue yourself. And in that moment, you are no longer the wounded child. You become the wise parent, the inner guardian, the sovereign of your life. So today I ask you, will you keep running from your pain, or will you turn back, hold the hand of that scared little child inside you, and finally say, I see you, I hear you, you are safe now. That is the beginning of your freedom. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Carl Jung, there is a hidden enemy inside you. It's not the world, not your past, not even your fear. It is a quiet voice, one that lives in the shadows of your mind, and it waits for the perfect moment to strike. Carl Jung called this part of the psyche the saboteur archetype. You may not recognize it by name, but you felt it every time you procrastinate right before an important goal, every time you start something powerful, then walk away halfway, every time success comes close, and somehow you push it away. That is the saboteur. It doesn't scream. It whispers, you're not ready. This won't work anyway. Why even try? The saboteur is clever. It dresses itself in logic, in caution, in fake wisdom. It will say, it's just not the right time. Or worse, you're not good enough yet. And so you wait, you plan, you think, but you never act. Why? Because the saboteur isn't trying to destroy your life. It's trying to protect you. From rejection, from disappointment, from change. It learned long ago, maybe in childhood, that playing small feels safer than failing big. But here's what Jung understood. The saboteur lives in your unconscious, and until you face it, it will control you. This is why you build dreams and break them. Why you set goals and abandon them. Why you pray for freedom, but secretly fear what it demands. Because part of you is afraid of your own power. But let me tell you something. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are simply at war with an invisible part of yourself. And that war can end the moment you bring the saboteur into the light. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What pattern keeps repeating in my life? When do I shrink even when I want to grow? When you answer these questions with brutal honesty, the saboteur begins to lose its grip, because awareness is your weapon. Courage is your sword, and action, even imperfect action, is how you win. You don't have to be perfect to begin. You don't have to feel ready to rise. You simply have to stop listening to the voice that says, stay small. A Carl Jung once said, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. So choose now. Choose to rise. Choose to act, even when your shadow tells you to stop. Because you are no longer a prisoner of fear. You are the author of your destiny. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Carl Jung, there comes a time in every soul's journey when the battle with fear ends. When the wounds have been faced, the shadows embraced, and from the ashes rises a new force. Calm, clear, powerful, the sovereign. Carl Jung called it the archetype of the king or queen, the one who does not chase power but embodies it, the one who does not seek control but creates order from the inside out. And this sovereign is already within you. But here's the truth. Before the king can rule, he must walk through chaos. Before the queen wears the crown, she must first face her deepest fears. You see, most people live their lives ruled by inner children. The orphan, who feels unloved, or the saboteur, who fears change. But once you face those parts, once you listen, heal, and integrate them, you awaken something higher, the inner ruler who takes full responsibility for life. The sovereign doesn't blame. The sovereign doesn't react. The sovereign decides, because this archetype knows, I am the one who creates my reality, not fate, not others, me. The king does not need approval. The queen does not beg for love. They build their world with vision, integrity, and discipline. But the crown is not handed to you. It is earned through self-awareness, through mastering your emotions, through showing up even when it's hard. The sovereign is the part of you that wakes up early to build the dream, that says no to short-term pleasure in service of long-term legacy, that stops playing the victim and starts leading the self. And once the sovereign rises, everything changes. Your relationships become conscious. Your money becomes purposeful. Your words gain weight. Your presence calms the room. Because now, you are no longer ruled by emotion. You are guided by vision. And vision is what builds empires. But remember this, the sovereign does not rule to dominate, the sovereign rules to protect, to serve, to elevate the kingdom, the people, the purpose, the future. So ask yourself today, are you living as the frightened child or as the conscious ruler of your life? Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. But fate is not your master. You are. The crown is already in your hands. Wear it. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung, in a world that worships hustle, where every moment is a race, where value is measured by how busy you are, let me offer you something radical. Healing is greater than hustling. Carl Jung, the great depth psychologist, did not teach us to chase the world. He taught us to explore the world within, because no amount of success on the outside will ever fill the emptiness on the inside. You can wake up at 5 a.m. You can read 100 books. You can grind, build, scale, repeat, but if you're hustling to escape your wounds, you are not growing. You are running. Running from the silence, running from the pain, running from the parts of you that still feel not enough. Jung called this the shadow, the parts of yourself you have rejected, the wounds you haven't healed, the traumas you've buried so deep you don't even realize they control you. And here is the truth he taught us. What you do not bring to consciousness will rule your life. So while you hustle for approval, while you chase validation, numbers, applause, the unhealed child within still whispers, am I really enough? And until you answer that question, not with noise, but with compassion, you will remain a slave to hustle. But when you choose healing, when you sit with your pain instead of distracting from it, when you stop performing and start feeling, that's when true transformation begins. Because healing doesn't slow you down, it sets you free. You start building from peace, not pressure, from worthiness, not desperation, from vision, not validation. The hustle becomes intentional, your actions become sacred, your life becomes aligned. Jung never promised a quick path, he offered a deep one, not to the top of the mountain, but to the bottom of your soul. And there, in the darkness, you find your light. So if you're tired, not just in your body, but in your spirit, let go. Let go of the lie that you must earn your worth. Let go of the idea that more doing means more value. And instead, come home to yourself. Heal, forgive, feel. Because once you heal, your energy becomes unstoppable. Your presence becomes magnetic. Your work becomes divine. Carl Jung showed us that the outer world is a reflection of the inner one. So don't just build empires. Build wholeness. Build stillness. Build a life that feels good inside your soul. Remember, healing is the real hustle. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Carl Jung, in today's world, discipline is seen as a tool for success. A way to wake up early, hit your goals, stay productive. But Carl Jung saw it differently. He saw discipline not just as a habit, but as a spiritual practice. Because discipline is not about control. It is about integration. It is about bringing your inner chaos into order, your fragmented self into wholeness. Discipline is how the soul learns to walk with purpose. It is how the unconscious becomes conscious. Every time you choose discipline, you are choosing to show up, not just for the world, but for your higher self. When you rise early despite tiredness, when you stay true to your word despite temptation, when you work in silence while others chase noise, you are not just being productive, you are becoming aligned. Aligned with your vision, aligned with your values, aligned with the person you are meant to become. Carl Jung taught us that the psyche is full of competing voices. The child who wants comfort, the saboteur who fears change, the orphan who doubts self-worth. But when you practice discipline, you give the microphone to the sovereign within, the king, the queen, the part of you that leads with wisdom. Discipline is how you prove to your inner world, I am in charge now, not your wounds, not your fears, not your past, because true freedom does not come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from becoming who you truly are, and that requires structure. Think of monks in monasteries, artists who wake before dawn, warriors who train in silence. Their discipline is not just duty, it is devotion. It is prayer through action. Carl Jung said, we do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And discipline is how we face that darkness, not once but daily, in the mirror, in the journal, in the gym, in our relationships. It is sacred repetition, and through it we are transformed. So if you've seen discipline as boring, harsh, restrictive, I invite you to see it as something higher. Discipline is how your soul breathes in the modern world. It is how chaos becomes creation. It is how dreams become reality. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present, with your choices, with your path, with your truth. So the next time you feel resistance, smile, because that resistance is the doorway to your becoming. Walk through it, daily, patiently, spiritually, because in the end, discipline isn't punishment, it is liberation.